Hello and welcome to the story of how I signed 11 new SMMA clients in 52 days. We're going to start with a bit of mindset because I love mindset. It's definitely the key piece here. The priority training principle. I'm bringing this up because I've been actually training for like 12 years now, and I've noticed that there are some parts about my body that are lagging, that always have been lagging. And yeah, I know it doesn't take 12 years to get that, but I guess I always resolve that with that dissonance, I suppose, with it's fine, it's not me, that's not the case with me. And yet, there's only so many times you can get compliments about how big and nice your chest looks, whilst your arms are kind of like spaghetti sticks around. And yeah, that's basically me. So for the first time ever, I've decided to actually apply the priority training principle and to really work on my lagging bits, which are my shoulders and my arms. And all the while, at the same time, I thought, well, where else can I apply this priority training principle? Well, in business, in the marketing, SMMA, social media marketing and advertising, I actually have years of results by this point, working in agencies and for agencies, delivering results for clients, delivering results for agencies, helping agencies scale, helping clients scale as a freelancer, etc., etc. And obviously, this whole time generating multi-million dollars. And yeah, acquisition has always been lagging behind. Well, this year was the absolute main focus of it. And in being and doing this, I basically did the following. Understanding the target audience essentially means being the target audience. There's no better way to understand your ideal client, the profiling, the first box on the left, apart from doing full immersion. So the background really has to be you are your own ideal client, or the next best thing, you serve your own ideal client directly. Now, I've been in the SMMA space for almost 4 or 5 years now. And this whole time, I've always wanted to have my own agency. And in my efforts, in my attempts to do that, I have become my own ideal target customer. I've been in that position twice now, where I tried to set out on my own, and for one reason or another, I didn't quite crack it. Well, now the research of the target market essentially just means looking back at my own experience, drawing back from it, and understanding what the struggles were. So that's the way. Infiltrate the market means just join a community, join a program, join a course, join a free one. There's so many free ones right now. Join a discussion in a YouTube channel. There's absolutely no excuse to not infiltrate the market and to understand directly from the face of coal, not from assumptions in your head. If you work with assumptions in your head, you're going to have a hard time grasping reality the way it is, meeting it where it is, and you're just going to work on parallel tangents that never meet. And analyzing competitors finally is basically the thing we did as well in scaling this bad boy of an agency from the ground up by identifying the gaps and how we could stand out in the market, because obviously there's direct competitors in this market that are not just waiting for us. And this is applicable and true to whatever niche. I don't care whether you think there's niches that are more or less saturated, whether you're in one and you want to jump ship, because shiny object syndrome, because for one reason or another you didn't crack it in your current one, you're always going to have competitors, whether direct or indirect. And if you don't analyze them, and if you don't understand how they position themselves so that you can position yourself as more desirable, you're not going to stand a chance. Yeah, so with that out of the way, this is the strategy that we developed. Essentially, we're following the consulting.com mantra, which is offer market fit, message market fit, product market fit. There's no point to consolidate and to strengthen one to the detriment of the other ones. This is only as strong as its weakest link. You need all three. And this was actually a surprise to me as well, because I always thought, working with 60, 70 e-commerce stores in the past, that all you need is the offer market fit. Nothing further from the truth. What I was doing was essentially confusing the product with the offer market fit, and it's very easy to confuse these things. Well, fundamentally, the offer market fit is basically the way, the result that you're offering, the result that you guarantee in, and the price point at which you're offering it. This is what the market has to accept, the offer that you're making them. The product is not the offer. They're not the same thing. In our case, we started with a guarantee. Guarantees, well, there's two opinions. There's two schools of thought on guarantees right now. Some people say you should. Some people say it really brings the market down for everyone, and it also lowers your perception. I think be careful about who you're listening to and what their agenda and deeper motives are. If they're trying to sell you something that doesn't align, well then, beige flag. And so test both. We are actually testing both. And we are actually slowly graduating away from guarantees into higher tickets, but all the while be aware of the market sophistication. If you don't know what the market sophistication is, it basically means how saturated and how aware the market is of the offer, of the claim that you're making. Offers don't die in a vacuum. They die because they are being competed with by someone else's offer. Don't meet a market with an old, outdated offer because it's just not going to stand a chance. Message market fit, step number 2, just know the lingo. Simple as that. Speak the verbiage, speak the pain points, show the customers that you understand them from intimate personal experience, and they'll instantly assume that you actually have the answer. This is actually a bit of a hack. If you do this, you're probably going to get away without having case studies. In fact, most of the times we actually sell and close without any case studies whatsoever. They just don't ask. They get conviction from the way we speak, and they trust us for that. Finally, product market fit. That just means make sure that your product actually delivers. Make sure that you actually have something that solves your problem, your customer's problem, your customer's pain. This for us is kind of like an absolute necessity because we work on a pay-per-performance basis. So now imagine if you couple guarantees with pay-per-performance model, you are crushing. And that's what we're doing right now, which is why we've been able to close 111 clients in 52 days. This is our acquisition plan. Simple. Things are simple. We overcomplicate them. It's DMs, emails, ads, and referrals. We're literally covering pretty much all the acquisition channels out there, apart from, I should have probably added the 5th one as well, I guess, content, because we did go ham on social media short form content, and now we're supplementing with long form content as well. But that's it. There's no need to overcomplicate this. I was in the shadow in the dark about these things for so long, just overcomplicating them and sort of getting daunted and intimidated by the label that each of these is and it implies. But the fundamental principles behind them are so basic. DMs, just shoot people a bunch of DMs, slide in their DMs, easy as that. Obviously, you have to do mad volume, or you have to refine your strategy, be clever about it, stand out because everyone else does it, low barrier of entry. But it doesn't negate the fact that it's just as simple as that, fundamentally. Email marketing, exactly the same thing. Scrape a list and then email it. I've not scraped a list for so long because I didn't want to spend the money in it because I didn't trust its validity. And when I finally did, I realized that actually, holy hell, email marketing is not dead. I don't know who still says or thinks that email marketing is not dead, that it's saturated, that it gets 0.001 responses to it. Yes, so what? That's how it works. Use it how it works. Don't bring your emotion into it. Ads. Well, this is my bread and butter. I've been a media buyer for 4 years now. Ads are beautiful. Ads are the best and the fastest way to scale. If you crack them, once you crack them, the good part of it is that once you do the other channels at the same time and you start getting a feel for your niche, you're going to be able to transfer that knowledge into ads as well, because there is no magic silver bullet on how you buy ads. There's no way to structure your accounts that's going to magically get you 2x, 3x, 4, 5x ROAS overnight, or results that you expect just because of how you handle the tool. The underlyings are still the offer and the message market fit. That's what moves the dial when it comes to ads. And obviously the funnel, you can be smart about it. You can drive with value, not with offer. We're going to go into that on the next slide. And finally, bonus, if you have referrals, if you've been in the game for a while, or if you have a unique position of advantage that you can leverage to get some referrals in, then do it. Do it. Use any advantage you can to propel yourself forward, to build a bit of momentum. Yeah, a couple of our clients came from referrals. Thank God for that. Key takeaways: value-driven, better than offer-driven. This is what I was just alluding to just now. The beauty of value-driven is essentially you're lowering your cost per acquisition, you're lowering the cost of your leads, your booked appointments, you're increasing the response rate in DMs and in emails. It's absolutely insane, this day and night. It basically gets you nurtured leads, it gets you warmed up leads, and it gets you pre-sold, pre-qualified leads. It's essentially time that you spend with your customer, one to many, with your prospect, without you actually having to be on the call with them and sell to them and persuade them and convince them and have them build trust with you, basically. Value driven essentially means, I don't want to say lead magnets, because it's not just lead magnets, that's overly simplifying it, but it just means, hey, I did this, here's how I did it. And this is basically kind of like a case study. It's kind of like a 2, 3, 4, 5-step process, a method, a hack, a swipe file, a book, a booklet, that kind of stuff. It's value. It's basically understanding your prospect's pain, the thing they're trying to move away from, and your prospect's desire, pleasure, dream state, and basically giving it to them so that they feel and understand that you may actually have the solution that they seek, that they need. The second point there, volume negates luck. That's just for a perfectionist and an overthinker like myself. It's just the biggest game changer. It just means that you don't stop and you don't put any rationalizing and any brain into it prematurely. You just go and churn away and you build data points so they have enough statistically relevant data to work off of. We actually don't have enough data at this point. We just continue to go. This means you eliminate assumptions and you're taking imperfect action. Imperfect action, well, it beats any perfect plan that doesn't get executed any time of the day. I mean, these are such trivial, I guess. Well, they sound trivial. They sound like obvious points, but I can't stress enough how many years not doing this has actually cost me. So you're now getting the opportunity of hearing it from the horse's mouth, from someone who's actually spent years not doing this, but doing the exact opposite. And then finally, good sales versus bad sales. A very personal experience of mine. I've experienced this previously in a separate business that I've run as a dating coach for men, teaching them how to basically meet women and date and have success with approaching them, getting their numbers, etc., and getting out of friend zones and all that jazz. There seems to be a parallel between that and this, and I know this is a bit of an unorthodox comparison, I suppose, but a boring sale often is a good sale. A fun, engaging sale where you build a ton of rapport and where oftentimes you'd be surprised to hear things and remarks like, oh, you're such a good closer, or well done, mate, that was a great close, and stuff like that, actually end up in the so-called friend zone. They don't actually end up buying. So don't think that your sale has to be perfect. In fact, we've actually butchered some sales absolutely severely, and we still managed to close them. And then we had some amazing ones where all the stars aligned. We built reports. There were pets. They had the same breed of dog as us. They were on the same, I don't even know, the same time zone, whatever. We really stretched the rapport building there, and it was phenomenal. And the guys really loved us, and they never bought from us. In fact, the interaction turned sour later on. So don't strive for entertainment. Don't strive for wow factor, because that's not what moves the dial in sales. Oftentimes, boring is good, flies under the radar. That's where you want to be. Points of iteration and improvement. We are working on collecting more cash upfront, at least on setup fees, or even better, on some form of retainer, because that basically means that we are sharing some of that risk load with the clients. No matter how good your service is, you're still going to be risking. And anyone who says just work, pay, and performance clearly doesn't understand the importance of momentum and the importance of basically being at least break even on the front end. If you want to be a bit more risky and you want to scale at lightning speed, then do what we did. Go work entirely pay per performance, but just expect that that's going to put a bit of a dent in your cash flow initially. Transition into medium to high ticket. We started with a very low offer. We had clients sign for as little as $500. Some signed for $1,000. We negotiate our cost per, our offer is booked appointments. We negotiate the cost per our booked appointments based on how much these people pay for the initial setup. But right now, with the last few sales, we've actually moved towards charging more at the front end. And when I say medium to high ticket, I'm saying the ambition there is to charge anywhere between 5 and 7, if not 8K in dollars. That's the definition of high ticket, and actually probably even more. I strongly believe with a good enough offer, with an entirely done for you system, as a growth partner, you can start pushing the envelope towards 10K tickets. Build momentum, maintain momentum, super important. When you have momentum, just write it. When an email sequence hits, when a DM sequence hits, when a bunch of ads hit, just make sure you have the time and the money to back those winning horses. And yeah, just capitalize on it. Don't be afraid. Don't self-sabotage. Don't pull back. It's tempting. It can be daunting, especially when your systems in the back end are a mess, which oftentimes they are, because if you're moving fast and breaking things, it's inevitable that that's going to happen. Continue, maintain that momentum, and, going with the speed of money, the good old dated live coaching, what they call them, sound bites. Nice. Finally, delegate and elevate. So important to understand that resources are limited. And if you have any, control freak tendencies like I do, trying to do everything by yourself, to learn to actually delegate. Yes, you're probably going to sacrifice some of that quality, but again, something is better than nothing, oftentimes. Definitely a good point, a big point for us as well, to hire resources, to figure out hiring is a bit daunting. Hiring is definitely a tough nut to crack, but guess what, any nut you're gonna crack. We're gonna continue this metaphor now. You can only do it by trying and failing. There's a lot of advice on that as well. Don't be afraid to hire slow and fire quick. I actually think you should probably hire quick and fire quicker, but that doesn't change the fact that you want to bring some hands on deck and maybe gradually desensitize yourself to the idea that you're going to have to pay somebody else as well. I have a client, a long-standing client, that was paying somewhere around the 2,500 mark, and I've actually partnered up with a fulfillment partner who I'm literally forfeiting half of my fee to, just because I'm trying to delegate and elevate that. So that's the level you want to be at scale. So price lessons, client communication are always fundamental, always key. That's not the surprising point there. What's surprising is that we somehow managed to churn one client already, for full transparency. It's not due to service delivery. It's not due to the service quality. It's purely due to client communications, which means setting realistic expectations and being extra careful how to manage. It doesn't help that this was indeed a referral and it came through my partner. And when the lines are a bit blurry and a bit muddled, I suppose, it's harder to keep that level of authority. But I'm not going to say that because I'm not fully convinced that that's not the case. I'm just saying this is a surprise lesson and there's probably something to learn from it. There's definitely something to learn from it. Another big one for us is to clarify the unit economics, to understand how much in, how much out, how much can we afford to pay to acquire a new customer, so that we have that understanding of how far we can push our ads, how far we can push software, email backend, and just generally getting a better finger on the pulse of our financials. I mean, it's a no-brainer to know your KPIs. And then finally, conviction in sales. This one is super important, especially when you're building into a new niche, because no matter how much experience you have in another niche, it can literally be as simple as changing niches. Some small variable, some change can be enough to, make you second guess yourself and the ability of your skills. If you have a problem around sales, just have a look at why that's happening. Are you doubting your service? Are you doubting the quality of your product, of your fulfillment? And if so, then how are you going to bring that back to where it needs to be? Well, my advice has always been, look back at your happy customers, look back at your testimonials, case studies. And it's so important to build those case studies as you go along, because you're going to forget. I had a client that was over the moon with my stuff a year ago, and I'd completely forgotten about them until recently. And I was so happy that I remembered, because it was such a valuable source of conviction and energy. And these things you just can't forget. You need to take them with you forever and accumulate them. Recent, not so recent, they're yours, they're hard earned. Keep a log of it. If you can get videos of it, then more power to you. Finally, the 3-week look ahead for us is to set strict KPIs, to see how we can actually meet them by actually making weekly reviews a habit. Weekly reviews are so important, and so many people don't do them because they don't want to admit that they're not doing needle moving activities, which is why the third point is focus on value generating activities. Always take a audit of your time and where you've spent it and whether things got done or not done. You have to be that binary about your action taking abilities. You have to be a machine, and if you aren't, then review that at the end of the week and figure it out. Because if that happens 1 week and then 2 weeks and 3 weeks, it's a habit, it's a problem, you need to fix it. coaching, life coaching, mindset coaching, whatever it is, fix it. It's not going to get fixed and it's going to cost you years. And that is basically the mindset. Mindset unlocked. It really helps to see it done. It really helps to get it done. Once you've done it, it's like Hormozi says, a very recent tweet, which is, once you start working hard, you only then do you realize what working hard really means. And this is basically it. It doesn't mean that it's not simple. It's really simple. Really is simple. But it's still work and you have to put it in. So I hope this helps. I hope you're liking this format. These images are really mesmerizing to look at. And until next time, any questions, let us know. Bye-bye.